Have you noticed that a committed man has been acting strangely around you? Small gestures, subtle changes in behavior. Could this mean something more? In today's video, I'm going to show you 7 signs that may reveal when a married man is developing feelings for another woman. And the last sign on the list is the most revealing of all. Sign number 1. He finds excuses to talk to you. You know that man who always shows up with a silly question, a random comment, or a story that didn't really need to be told? If he's finding any excuse to strike up a conversation with you, pay attention. Deep down, he may be trying to spend more time by your side, even without realizing it. The problem is that often, he doesn't have the courage to admit to himself what he's feeling. And don't think these excuses are obvious. Sometimes he asks about an irrelevant detail of your day, or makes up a situation that requires your opinion. It could be as simple as, "What perfume are you wearing?" Or, "Have you been to that new restaurant? It looks nice." All just to create a connection and keep you close. But why does he do this? Is it just politeness? Or is there something more? Committed men who feel attracted to someone else usually don't realize they're acting differently, but their behavior gives them away. If he never used to pay attention to you and suddenly makes a point to talk to you almost every day, that could be a sign he's feeling something he shouldn't. After all, when someone truly isn't interested, they don't go out of their way to be present all the time. Now, pay attention. These small interactions may seem harmless, but over time, they create intimacy. And when that happens, emotional involvement becomes even stronger. But does just talking and staying close already indicate something serious? Not always. But there's another sign that's much more revealing, and this one could make things crystal clear. Sign number 2. He shares personal things. When a married man starts revealing details about his life beyond the surface level, it can be a red flag. Does he talk about problems in his marriage, frustrations at work, or even happy moments he wishes he could relive? If he sees you as someone he can trust with his deepest thoughts, it's because there's already an emotional connection. And the danger of this is that many times he doesn't even realize he's crossing a line. This kind of openness doesn't happen with just anyone. Usually, men share intimate topics only with those they consider special. If he's confiding in you about the struggles in his life, he may not just be looking for advice. He might be seeking the kind of comfort he no longer finds in his marriage. The problem is, this can create a strong bond between you, making things even more complicated. Now, stop and think. Is he looking for sincere advice? Or is he just using these conversations as an excuse to get closer? Some men don't even realize they're building emotional intimacy through these talks. And for you, the question remains. Does he trust you as a friend? Or is there a hidden intention behind these conversations? Have you ever been through something like this? Share your thoughts in the comments. What's most interesting is that this type of behavior usually starts subtly but then becomes more frequent, and it doesn't stop there. Beyond words, there's another way he might show his feelings without saying anything at all. A silent way, but one that reveals everything. Sign number 3. He looks at you differently. A man's gaze says much more than the words he chooses. When feelings are involved, his eyes give him away. He might stare at you longer than usual, as if trying to memorize every detail of your face. Or he may quickly look away when he realizes he's been caught. This kind of visual exchange reveals emotions that often even he tries to hide. It's not just any look. It's a gaze that seeks a silent connection, that conveys admiration and even desire. It could be a different sparkle in his eyes, a more attentive way of watching you, or even that moment when he seems lost in his own thoughts while looking at you. These are subtle gestures, but they make it clear that something inside him is changing. And it's not just about intensity, but also frequency. If he constantly looks for your gaze, even in a crowd, it means his focus is on you. He may be talking to someone else, but every now and then, he glances in your direction. Small details like these show that his mind is divided between reality and what he feels for you. But there's something even more revealing than eye contact. Something that doesn't just depend on him, but also on how he reacts when he sees you interacting with other people. And this behavior can reveal even more about what he really feels. Sign number 4. He shows subtle jealousy. even without being in a relationship with you, he may feel uncomfortable seeing you interact with other men. Jealousy appears in a disguised way, but shows through small gestures, an unexpected comment, a change in his tone of voice, or even a brief serious expression. He may try to act indifferent, but his discomfort is obvious. Sometimes it comes out as a joke. He might say something like, "Oh, so you have a lot of guy friends, huh?" Or, "That guy seems really excited to talk to you." It may sound lighthearted, but the truth is, he's paying more attention than he should. Deep down, he doesn't. Like the idea of someone else occupying a space that, in some way, he wishes was his. Beyond words, his body language also gives him away. He might cross his arms, force a smile, or even change the subject quickly to shift focus away from what's bothering him. These spontaneous reactions show that he's struggling with feelings he shouldn't have. After all, if it didn't matter, why would he be so concerned? And the most interesting part is that this type of behavior isn't always conscious. He may try to hide it, but certain emotions just slip through. But what happens when his desire to be close to you starts turning into something physical? The answer to that lies in another sign that may be even more revealing. Sign number 5. He finds reasons to touch. You touch may seem casual, but it's rarely accidental. If he always finds a way to make physical contact with you, even subtly, it could be a sign of suppressed desire. A touch on your shoulder while talking, a handshake that lasts a little longer than usual, or even an accidental brush against you, these are unconscious ways of creating closeness. These physical contacts often happen in a disguised way, as a friendly gesture. It could be a light touch on your back as he walks past you, or his hand brushing against yours when handing you something. Small moments that, on their own, might not seem like much, but when they become frequent, they reveal a desire to close. The distance between you. He might not even realize what he's doing, but the body speaks before the mind. What's interesting is that his reaction after the touch can say a lot. If he pulls away quickly, as if he just broke a rule, it means he knows he's crossing a line. But if he maintains the contact naturally, without worrying about whether anyone notices, it could mean he's already grown comfortable with this connection. What once was a simple gesture has now become a necessity. But there's another way. A man shows emotional involvement, and this one goes beyond physical touch. In fact, it's something he does without even realizing it, almost like a natural reflex whenever he's near you. And when this happens, his intentions become even clearer. Sign number 6. He tries to make you laugh. All the time, humor is one of the most natural ways to create a connection, and a man who is falling for you will make a point of seeing you smile. If he's always telling jokes, making playful comments, or even going out of his way to say something funny just to get your attention, it could be a sign that he wants to be special to you. He wants you to associate his presence with lighthearted and fun moments. Beyond his words, the way he reacts to your laughter also says a lot. If he smiles automatically whenever you laugh, or watches you with a look of satisfaction after making you giggle, it's a sign that your happiness matters to him. He doesn't just want to be another person in your life. He wants to be someone who makes a difference in your day. Often this behavior comes up in unexpected moments. If he notices you're serious or distracted, he might try to lighten the mood with a joke or a silly comment just to break the tension. It may seem like simple charisma or friendliness, but when it becomes frequent and directed specifically at you, it's a sign of emotional involvement. But what happens when this behavior suddenly changes? When, out of nowhere, he seems more distant or even uncomfortable? This sudden shift in his demeanor could be one of the strongest signs that he's feeling something he shouldn't. And the reason behind it might reveal more than words ever could. Sign number 7. He changes. When his wife is around, nothing gives away a forbidden feeling more than a sudden change in behavior when his wife is present. If he's playful, talkative, and always seeking your attention but suddenly shuts down when she's around, it could mean he knows he's crossing a dangerous line. The contrast between how he acts when he's alone with you versus how he behaves when she's present can say a lot about what he truly feels. This change can manifest in different ways. He may avoid eye contact, seem colder, or even walk away to avoid showing any signs that could raise suspicion. Sometimes guilt takes over, and he distances himself to resist temptation. Other times, it's the fear that his wife will notice something different in his eyes. Either way, this behavior is a clear warning sign that an internal conflict is happening. Another important detail is how he talks about his wife in conversations. If he avoids mentioning their relationship or changes the subject when she comes up, it could be an indication that he feels something he shouldn't. And if he acts one way when he's alone with you but completely different when she arrives, it means he knows there's a problem. But here's an important truth. If he's developing feelings for another woman while being married, it shows that he lacks the maturity to handle his commitments. If he's emotionally cheating now, what guarantees he wouldn't do the same? In the future, no woman deserves to be an option, and being involved with someone who is already committed only leads to heartache. The best thing to do is walk away before this connection causes wounds that are hard to heal. If you enjoyed this video and want more content about relationships, subscribe to the channel right now. That way, you won't miss any new videos. And don't forget to click on the next video appearing on the screen. I'll see you there in a few seconds.